Josh Hawley found this whistleblower at Meta. You'd know that company perhaps as Facebook, how they were in a massive conspiracy against the United States, helping to try and get into China with China. He has this whistleblower on. I was fascinated by this conversation, so I thought I'd share it with you. We're going to watch this one together. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. Here's Josh Hawley.
Heard their plans for China. She's no ordinary whistleblower, and she comes to tell us not merely about what has happened, but also what is coming.
My name is Sarah Wynne-Williams, and I served as the Director of Global Public Policy at Facebook, now Meta, for nearly 7 years, starting in 2011. Throughout those 7 years, I saw Meta executives repeatedly undermine US national security and betray American values. They did these things in secret to win favor with Beijing and build an $18 billion business in China. We are engaged in a high-stakes AI arms race against China. And during my time at Meta, company executives lied about what they were doing with the Chinese Communist Party to employees, shareholders, Congress, and the American public. I sit before this committee today to set the record straight about these illegal and dangerous activities. Meta's dishonesty started with the betrayal of core American values. Mark Zuckerberg pledged himself a free speech champion. Yet I witnessed Meta work hand in glove with the Chinese Communist Party to construct and test custom-built censorship tools that silenced and censored their critics.
Okay, that's the big one. She called out Mark Zuckerberg, who, recently made his statement over a year ago. He regretted doing what our government demanded he do in burying the Hunter Biden laptop story, et cetera, COVID practices and all that. And yet he bowed willingly to China to help them with their censorship. Now, I've watched this happen firsthand for 10 years now at Meta, but it's not the only business that bends over backwards to get Chinese bucks. I've worked with every Hollywood studio, and every Hollywood studio that wanted their movies released in China also censored them according to the wishes of the Chinese Communist government to gain access to that audience. So this is not about just Zuckerberg. This is about all American businesses that will compromise their American values to allow basically China to turn our free businesses into communist businesses so they can allow them to access the Chinese giant billion dollar market.
When Beijing demanded that Facebook delete the account of a prominent Chinese dissident living on American soil, they did it. And then lied to Congress when asked about the incident in a Senate hearing. The willingness to censor was not the only troubling thing I witnessed. I watched as executives decided to provide the Chinese Communist Party with access to Meta user data, including that of Americans. Meta does not dispute these facts. They can't. I have the documents. As recently as this Monday, they claim that they do not operate their services in China. Another lie. In fact, they began offering products and services in China as early as 2014. That hasn't stopped. Their own SEC filings from last year show that China is now Meta's second biggest market. Meanwhile, Meta's AI model, Llama, has contributed significantly to Chinese advances in AI technologies like DeepSeek. Facebook's secret mission to get into China was called Project Uldren and was restricted to need-to-know staff. There was no bridge too far. Meta built a physical pipeline connecting the United States and China. Meta executives ignored warnings that this would provide backdoor access to the Chinese Communist Party, allowing them to intercept the personal data and private messages of American citizens. The only reason China does not currently have access to US user data through this pipeline is because Congress stepped in. Meta started briefing the Chinese Communist Party as early as 2015. These briefings focused on critical emerging technologies, including artificial intelligence. The explicit goal being to help China outcompete American companies. There's a straight line you can draw from these briefings to the recent revelations that China is developing AI models for military use, relying on Meta's Llama model.
Okay, this is the most important in that this is an American company, Mark Zuckerberg, helping China with their AI model. What does that mean? AI means artificial intelligence. By the way, anyone, if you are watching YouTube or you use a cell phone, you're already using AI. It's already there. It's how you get it. AI calculates and thinks about the directions it gives you on your, when you're driving around in your car. It is used by every company you use, including your own accounting, your own banking. AI is using all of that, including designing book covers, helping edit the books that you read. It's already being used. So I don't want you to want to put the big fear mongering on the big bad word, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is just a tool where we users are able to have a huge bank of computers. I'm talking about a mile square, Grok, Elon Musk has 100,000 computers linked for it to make AI calculations. It's basically a giant thinking tool. Now, like all tools, be it a hammer or an AK-47 rifle, the tool itself is neutral. A tool cannot be evil. A gun cannot be evil. AI cannot be evil. It's the wielder of the tool that makes anything neutral either perform something for the good or for evil. And so AI is one of the most powerful tools that we have to communicate, to convince, to influence, to give pleasure, to be useful to you. And putting that tool for American companies to put that tool in Chinese communist companies' hands is treason. That's what I'm proposing for Mark Zuckerberg. He's going to have to come out and deal with what he has done. He allowed Facebook data to help train. Now, training AI, artificial intelligence computers, is where it's all at. You have to train them to be able to speak our language. It has to learn what our faces are like. It has to learn what our trends are in our massive populations, what we buy and do not buy. And Mark Zuckerberg allowed our data to go over to China and help train their DeepSeek AI program that is in direct competition with the three major other AI companies in the world. That's like ChatGPT from Google, Grok with X, and Sam Altman's OpenAI. And then we got to win that war, guys. We got to win that escalation of technology. And Mark Zuckerberg screwed us.
Meta's internal documents describe their sales pitch for why China should allow them into the market by, quote, helping China increase global influence and promote the China dream. The truth about what has gone on in China matters. I filed a shareholder resolution asking Meta's board to investigate its activity in China, and I filed whistleblower complaints with the SEC and the DOJ. The measure of how important these truths are is directly proportionate to the ferocity of Meta's efforts to censor and intimidate me. I relied on their commitment given in 2018 that they would waive their rights to pursue forced arbitration. Despite that public commitment, they've brought a case against me for hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, they have a legal gag order that silences me, even as Meta and their proxies spread lies about me. This order is so expansive that it prohibits me from speaking with members of Congress. The gag order was sought by a company whose CEO claims to be a champion of free speech. The American people deserve to know the truth. Meta has been willing to compromise its values, sacrifice the security of its users, and undermine American interests to build its China business. It's been happening for years, covered up by lies, and continues to this day.
Okay, that's all I need to hear. Mark Zuckerberg is some kind of a criminal. And this is a beautiful executive lady. And this is how feminists like Mark Zuckerberg treat a strong-minded, truth-seeking, beautiful lady exec. They sue her for millions of dollars, put a gag order on her. So I'm just calling out the left once again. All their human resources department saying we don't touch women in the wrong way. We would never abuse them. They're bullies. They're bullies. They're trying to destroy her reputation. And I'm here to call it out. I'm glad you guys could join me right here. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I have a Facebook account. I have 2 Facebook accounts. My family has Facebook accounts. Do you have a Facebook account? Let me know in the comments below what you think of Mark Zuckerberg being buddies with the Chinese communists. I'm Doug in exile.